we had a slate of 9 NHL games. These games were capped off by a Bruins Lightning matchup, as well as the classic rivalry of the Penguins versus Capitals. We'll get right into it. The Bruins versus Lightning ended in a 3-2 win for the Lightning, with Kucherov capping off his 50th assist, which is the first player this season to reach that feat. We also had Andrei Vasilevsky collecting his 251st win in his 400th career game, which was the most wins in NHL history in 400 career games. After that, we had the Red Wings Canadiens, a classic matchup where the Red Wings prevailed 4-3 in overtime, where Moritz Seider actually collected 3+ assists, which is the first defenseman in Red Wings history to have 3 performances of such at the age of 21 years or younger. We had the Penguins versus Capitals, a classic rivalry because of Ovechkin and Crosby. Ovechkin showed up, Crosby got mad, that kind of classic stuff. But we saw Washington prevail 3-2 in the shootouts thanks to Evgeny Kuznetsov with the controller disconnect move, as well as Nicholas Backstrom with his smooth hands shooting at top shelf at the end to cap off the shootouts. This was a big game, especially for the standings, especially as we head into the playoff picture. As with that win over the Penguins, the Capitals actually moved ahead of the Penguins in the standings. After that, we had the Sabres versus Jets. The Jets were huge favorites in this game, but Tage Thompson and Owen Power came out firing. They originally led 2-0 in the first, but they ended up winning 3-2 against the Winnipeg Jets. After that, Devils versus Predators. Devils are on a bender this season, but they were actually halted by the Nashville Predators last night, 6-4. Jack Hughes, another goal. He's climbing up in his career numbers, which is awesome to see. He's a good player. Exciting to watch, that kind of stuff that we sort of see in the superstars. After that, the Flyers versus Wild. Flyers did come out firing at first, but that was halted by the Wild as they came out to prevail 3-2. And then into sort of like the wild card games that we sort of, don't really... We think that there's a winner right off the bat, but actually it flipped. The bad teams actually won. And according to Money Puck, one of the statistical websites that we use to see the percentage to win, in the Ducks versus Avalanche and the Blackhawks versus Flames games, there was a 3.5% chance that both Anaheim and Chicago were going to win tonight. There was 3.5 chance. And both teams won last night. Anaheim 5-3, Chicago 5-1, and then let's just throw this in: the Blues versus Coyotes. Arizona won 5-0, blanking the Blues, which was a kind of a shock. We don't really expect those kind of wins for those teams, especially the Blackhawks against the Flames, the Coyotes against the Blues, the Blues are on the up and up. And the Avalanche Ducks, that was kind of thrown up, but the Ducks have been pretty bad this season. But 3.5% chance. There's always a chance to win for these teams, and especially with those teams are trying to tank for Bedard here. They're trying to get the next Connor McDavid, which will hopefully happen. It's been looking like it will be, but those are some big wins for those teams, because that just makes the lottery chances even closer for these teams that are trying to get Bedard. So let's go into Friday night's games. We got the Red Wings versus Islanders. Wings are going to go back-to-back in this one, I believe. They just played last night. As I said, they played the Canadiens and they won in overtime, hard-fought battle. But another milestone that we see with the Islanders is that Anders Lee is 1 point away from 400 career points. I think that's going to hit tonight. We're going to see the 400th career point for Anders Lee happen, and you never know. I personally think it's going to be a goal, because how else would you want to cap off your 400th career point in the league, especially being a crucial part of the Islanders. After that, we have the Kings versus Panthers. A good battle, especially the Kings have been underlooked this season. They are really good, so I do think that with the goaltending issues that the Panthers have had, I believe that the Kings are going to win tonight. Then we have the Senators versus Maple Leafs, a classic Canadian matchup. And in this one, we are going. People are going to think that Maple Leafs are going to win. They're not. The Senators are going to upset the Maple Leafs tonight. They have what it takes. Maple Leafs are frauds. And yeah. Then we got the Sharks versus Hurricanes. Hurricanes, they've sort of like reached their peak this season. So I think the Sharks are gonna win this one. They're again just like the Kings. They're on they're rising in the rankings, and we're seeing that they're starting to, especially with Erik Karlsson. Even though they're talking about getting rid of Erik Karlsson, we're seeing them rise in the rankings. Their performance has gotten a lot better. Now the biggest game of the night is definitely going to be the Golden Knights versus the Rangers. Two powerhouse teams, two teams that we're going to see in the playoffs, maybe even the Stanley Cup Finals. So that's going to be a big game to watch. Devils versus Stars. We're going to see the Devils go into another go into a back-to-back game here. They're going to be stretched after their loss last night, so I think that that's going to be a not easy, but like a given win for the Stars, because the Stars are pretty good this season. So we'll see how that comes out. We got the Flames versus Kraken after that. We got Andre Burakovsky, two assists away from 200 assists, which is a lot. He's a Stanley Cup champion with the Washington Capitals. He came over from Colorado this offseason, and he has been a star for the Kraken. After that, the Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Canucks. I could not give you the who's gonna win this game, because it's just thrown up in the air. You could flip a coin, whichever side it lands on, that's the team that's gonna win. Both teams are not the best, especially the Canucks. I mean, they've improved since the beginning of the season, but yeah. I'm just gonna do a random guess. I'm just gonna say the Blue Jackets here. Canucks have been struggling. They got rid of Bruce Boudreau, and we'll see what happens with it tonight